Okay, my name is Camryn Heath, and today I'm going to be giving my speech on the life of Dolly Parton. When growing up, was there ever a specific type of music you really enjoyed listening to, or even a specific musician you enjoyed listening to? For my sisters and I, that was always country music, or more specifically, Dolly Parton's country music. Today I'm going to be giving my speech on the life of Dolly Parton and how me and my sisters have both all bonded over our love for her and have learned more about who she is as a person. Growing up, it was really difficult for me and my sisters to get along because of our age gap, but one thing we always bonded over was Dolly Parton. Every year for Christmas, my sister would get a book about Dolly Parton's life, and she would always read it to me and tell me more about who Dolly is as a person and how she uses her fame to help the world. Dolly Parton grew up in Tennessee with her 11 brothers and sisters. She lived in a very poverty-stricken family, and she lived in a very poverty-stricken family and oftentimes didn't have enough money for food. One of her most famous songs, called "The Coat of Many Colors," was actually written about a moment in her childhood. It's about when she was younger. For Christmas, somebody put a box of rags, colorful rags, on her doorstep, and her mother used them to sew them together to create her a coat. While she sewed the coat, she told her children the story of the coat of many colors from the Bible. This is how Dolly wrote one of her very popular songs, "The Coat of Many Colors," which I also really enjoy. There's also a movie about this song that Dolly stars in herself. Dolly Parton is a famous musician and songwriter who's been in the music industry for about 50 years. She uses her fame a lot to help with charities and other special events more towards children. One of her biggest charities is called the Imagination Library. If you sign your child up every year from, I think, the age 0 to 5, they receive a free book once a month. This is something I really think is awesome and I cherish because my niece also gets to get these books, and I love reading them to her and watching her learn. And that's something that we have to thank Dolly for. Another thing that Dolly does is every year she donates almost over $1 million to all sorts of charities, such as the Wildlife and Fire, and then also children's charities. A fun fact about Dolly Parton in my life is when I was 13, my mom took me and my sisters to a Dolly Parton concert. We really loved the concert, but unfortunately, in the middle of the concert, I became very sick and had to go to the medical room. But I refused to leave the concert. The funny part about this, to me, is at the end of the concert, I ended up getting taken to the hospital. But I refused to leave the Dolly concert because I wanted to listen to Dolly and I wanted my sisters to listen to her also. So that is my speech on the life of Dolly Parton and how I think she's a great person and it should be more known. Thank you all for listening.